And Inácio thought that would be the end of it, right? But last night, right around the time the game was about to start, the Brazil game, messages from Vorcaro with the director from Banco Master started leaking and all that, saying that Vorcaro's connection with Lula was this guy named Wagner. André was outraged, with all of Lula's attempts to try to obstruct the investigation. And all those screenshots started leaking. The situation is like this, of course, since Wagner is nationally irrelevant, right? Yeah, he was the first from PT to get caught, right? And it's causing all this buzz on social media and everything. But you'll see, when that Rui Costa guy comes out, the other one, who's in a desperate situation. He tried to send a message to his friend, showing support and solidarity, and they tore him apart. I'll show everything here. Smash that like button because André isn't messing around. André isn't messing around. Hit that button, share a lot, use the web so everyone can see this, and other news. Guys, before anything else, I want to share an opportunity. I'm going to show you here, the Linfurbios. I always post videos here, like I just did, in the last few days, 2 kilos in a day. Then people say, no, it's just water and stuff. Look at the images. Look at my face. Look at my face. I only sell the product here because I fully trust it. Look at my face. Look at my image. This was months ago, not even a year. It's been only months, not a year. I know this from experience. Check out the pants. My pants. Look how loose they are. And look, they're already here. I don't wear a belt, see? You can fit a hand in here. The product works. Obviously, you have to have discipline. That's how dieting is. You have to plan. But it helps a lot, guys. It was 20 kilos, 20 kilograms. 20 kilograms that I lost, right? After 40, it's harder for us to lose weight. It really is more difficult. Even practicing physical activity every day. And I do. I wasn't able to lose weight. Focus, discipline, I managed to lose it. The images speak for themselves. Look at my face. My face is totally different, right? So it's worth it. If you don't want to miss this opportunity, an easier way, natural, extremely natural. It's a little powder that you add, especially to those greasy meals. It will help you eliminate fat, lose inches. The link is right below. It's a great opportunity to lose weight in a healthy way, with quality of life. It changes everything. Pants that didn't fit before start to fit. Our self-esteem gets much higher. That's a fact, right? The link is right below for those who don't want to miss this opportunity to lose weight today, okay? Look, it's the link, the bridge. Look here. The bridge between Lula and Vorcaro. Why? Lula couldn't do that. He couldn't just keep calling Vorcaro all the time.
No?
For obvious reasons. He needed someone to handle that communication. Let's remember that Wagner is Lula's political lieutenant. He's Lula's friend. He's a friend and a brother. We're not saying this because of political reasons. No, he's a friend and a brother. They are friends. Before I was born, just so you have an idea, they've been friends for more than 45 years. Right? Look at that. Messages found by the federal police on the cell phone of banker Daniel Vorcaro. They show the government leader in the Senate, Wagner. Mentioned in internal conversations at Banco Master as an intermediary to pass information to Lula. The conversations revealed by Estado were incorporated into the investigation of the 9th phase of Operation Compliance Zero. They reinforced that Vorcaro maintained access to key figures in the Workers' Party government while seeking political support for issues of interest to Banco Master. The question that arises here is, could it be that Queste? Will he conduct a poll now to show, as I've been saying here in several videos, Lula's decline? Obviously there won't be any Queste, any Datafola, or any other. Because the only one who drops in the polls is Flavio Bolsonaro, who absolutely has nothing, right? No corruption in what was brought up. Right, in the intercept audio, which again we need to mention. It's a group that's on the PCC's payment list, according to the federal police. It's not me saying this, it's the federal police. In a conversation from July 2024 between Vorcaro and the bank director, Fernando Mascarenhas, the two comment on the perception that the financial institution would be close to the PT government. After receiving the information that the bank was seen as having influence similar to that attributed to the brothers Josley and Batista, Vorcaro replied, "Is that marketing for us? Send it to Lula." And to the governing coalition. Next, the director replies, "I'll send it to Uncle Guga, right? Who is that? Gustavo Nilo. Gustavo... Oh, he was the guy there, the banker who was a partner at Master, right? And Jacques Val. Let's check here in the records, because another explosive piece of information came out. The Minister of Justice, who replaced Lewandowski, who received amounts, and there's still Lewandowski still has to go too, okay? Who received money from Vorcaro while he was a minister, since he was an advisor to the bank. Yeah, things just get worse, because the minister who replaced him was appointed by Jacques Wagner. Jacques Wagner knew he would be caught by the federal police, so he put in a minister he trusted. He was the one who appointed the minister, not Lula. He appointed the Minister of Justice, believe it or not. Coincidences, right? Just look at the leaked messages. Samuel Puncher posted it yesterday, right? The only thing they said is that we're close to the government, just like the Batista brothers are. Is that true? Vorcaro says so. The director of laughter, Rizos, right? He laughs too. That's marketing for us. Send it to Lula. Send it over to Lula. And to the governing coalition. I'll send it to Uncle Guga and to Jax, the one and only Jacques. Here it shows the exact screenshot, right here, look, from the federal police report. It was identified on Daniel Vorcaro's device, a conversation with the contact Fernando Master, the bank's commercial director, in which he states the closeness between the bank and Lula. And Lula, look at that. It's outrageous. Here's the thing. PT is so disgusting. This is just too disgusting. They're deeply involved with the Master case, and they're talking about Flavio and Bolsonaro. That Bolsonaro is the one to blame. That Bolsonaro is the one who's friends with Vorcaro. Man, that's just shameless. Think about these guys. They're shameless. INSS. That all the unions were connected to Lula. Bolsonaro was never friends with the union. They were so shameless that they said it was Bolsonaro's fault. No, it was Bolsonaro. Right, the blame. Because all the unions belong to Bolsonaro. The guys were celebrating when the CPMI ended. And then, in the report, the guys still had the nerve to blame Bolsonaro. They were laughing. That Elysian, she jumped out of her chair when one of the people under investigation wouldn't be summoned. Woo-hoo. And those guys, it's too much. What a cynical bunch. Even more cynical. That nefarious Globo network. They don't spread this. They don't. It's spread. It's astonishing. And this guy here, whom nobody knew who he was. Nobody knew. He's the Minister of Justice. And the guy was recommended by Jacques Wagner. The guy caught in his underwear. In his underwear on Thursday. Wellington, Caesar Lima. Nobody knew. They put some people in the most important positions who have no qualifications. Okay? He owes his appointment to the PT from Bahia. In particular, to Jacques Wagner. At the Ministry of Justice, he heads the federal police, which targeted Wagner with search and seizure warrants on Thursday. Born in Salvador, it's all that group from the PT in Bahia. Wellington Caesar graduated in law from the Federal University of Bahia. These universities are producing these kinds of people. Man, it's over. The credibility of these guys is gone, of these universities, of these educational institutions. It's hard to see. You take the character who gets into this, that the rich curriculum of these universities, just the fact that the minister was appointed by Jacques Wagner, they should all have already been removed, all of them. That André guy, people, the director of the federal police. It's very serious. People think it's nothing. The guy was drinking whiskey with the person under investigation. Guy's the head of the PGR. Right? He worked as a prosecutor at the Public Prosecutor's Office of the state of Bahia. He retired at the age of 56. Prosecutor. Retiring at the age of 56. That's another outrage here. People work themselves to death to retire after 65 years old, receiving minimum wage. The guy is a prosecutor. He retires at 56 years old. Right? It's a joke. Ridiculous. With a profile seen as pro-defendant. You know what that means, right? It's the one who lets people go. Criminals, right? That's what they say. No, we guarantee we let them go. He was appointed for 2 consecutive terms as the head of the Public Prosecutor's Office of Bahia. Of course, right? It was the PT that ruled Bahia for years, right? On the first occasion, he was last on the 3-person shortlist elected by his colleagues. In February 2016, in the final days of Dilma's second term, Wellington was nominated by Jacques Wagner, who was then the chief of staff, for the position of Minister of Justice. He was even appointed to the position on March 3 of that year, but was removed by a decision of the Federal District Court in a public civil action. Later, the Supreme Federal Court opposed his appointment, and he decided to return to the Public Prosecutor's Office of Bahia. The Supreme Federal Court opposed his appointment as Dilma's Minister of Justice at the time. Starting in January, Wellington began working as Deputy Secretary of Legal Affairs in the Civil House under the leadership of another important name from the Workers' Party of Bahia, Rui Costa. Since taking office as minister, Wellington has received Jacques Wagner in only one meeting recorded in the official schedule. It took place in February of this year. In addition to the 2, other representatives of the PT in Congress also participated in the meeting. Iglesias and Hoffman from Institutional Relations. Man, it's just too much disrespect towards us, guys. What are these guys doing? Malu Gaspar said here, it's unbelievable.
I wanted to say that Jacques Wagner is kind of a founding member of the master group. You know, he's one of the first politicians who started this relationship. And it's been a while, like you said, Andrea, that we used to hear that Jacques Wagner was flying on Master's planes, that he had a very close relationship with Master. And in the interviews he gave, even to us here, he used to say, I don't know Daniel Vorcaro. Okay, he doesn't know Daniel Vorcaro, but the messages show that he was very close to Augusto Lima, even in the messages. You see, according to what I found out, he calls Augusto Lima Guga. So he talks with Guga about flights, he talks with Guga about concerts, right? The tickets for the Taylor Swift concert, which he got from Master. Master paid for his family, his children in Los Angeles, in Sao Paulo.
Do you think that makes sense? They paid for shows for Cabeza Branca's daughters there, and in the United States, Los Angeles guys. It's a lot of corruption. It's a lot of corruption right in front of everyone. And of course, they're PT supporters. They don't even blush, which is their color, right? They don't even blush. Lula, people were speculating if he was going to remove Jacques Wagner, but it's obvious he's not going to remove him. Jacques Wagner, if he opens his mouth, he ruins everything.
I think I have to go there. I'm going to have to go. Oh, hippie, thank you.
How is your relationship with Jack Swagger, Mr. President? How is your relationship with Jack Swagger?
Thank you. You just say that.
You're just saying that.
Still, is he crazy? He says here that it is still going on. It continues. Yeah, these PT events are outrageous. Everything's closed, guys. Look, everything's closed. See? Everything's closed. That's so nobody sees what a failure it is. And that's supposed to be because he's exploding in popularity. He's the most popular guy on Earth. But it's just a scam factory, right? Or a factory for fooling fools. That's what those people are. Everything's closed. Everything. Only Workers' Party members are allowed in. It's getting harder each day to find local Workers' Party members. There are plenty in the press, and they also use the press to show numbers, because it depends on the people, right? Only those party cronies show up. Relatives of councilmen from nearby cities who are PT supporters, union leaders and that famous group that's easily manipulated. The Landless Workers Movement. All of this is right in front of everyone, okay? Share it everywhere, all right? Leandrosa isn't messing around. He released all these leaks, these messages. Lula. There, he had 5 meetings with Vorcaro. He didn't even need more, right? He has friends who acted as intermediaries. Vorcaro would call Jacques on his cell. We should have done that. Jacques was with Lula and would relay it to her right away. I'll stay. Vorcaro wants to talk to you. Look. He wants to talk to you here, okay? They're recording all of this. I'll return soon with more updates on the Pies of Philos channel, Fabiano Gigay.